Hey guys, if you are currently using ResponsiBid and GoHighLevel, watch this video. If you're confused, oh my gosh, how do I connect it together? This video is something that, to my knowledge, I have not seen ever published, and I totally understand why, because there are some freelancers and agencies out there that do this as a part of their service. As a matter of fact, I do this as a part of my service, and I've seen it, it can be charged anywhere from $500 to $2,000 to get this automation set up for you? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step behind the scenes of how I actually do this for clients. So now this is going to be not an easy video to watch if you are not techie. If this is something that you want done, but you do not want to know how to do the technical, right? If you don't want to see how the sausage is made, but you just want to have the end result, you can skip watching the video and then just reach out to me if you want to inquire about a done for you setup service where we actually connect your Responsibid to your Go High Level. Like I said, I'm really, really excited about this. I realize like this is the way I do it. Automations is something that can be done multiple ways, but I'm going to walk you through step by step. I also have a little Google Doc to help walk you through the steps as well to make sure that you're like doing the steps. I'm going to walk you through how to do it from scratch. You're going to actually watch over my shoulder as I do this. If at any point, again, you need help, we do have two options for additional help. Option one is if you want to do this yourself, but you just want the snapshots and the Zapier template. So that way, all you're doing is updating versus starting from scratch. We have that option. That option is not free. I will be upfront. We also have a done for you option, and that option is not free as well. However, if you don't have a budget, but you have time and patience, then this is absolutely the video to watch. I don't hold back anything. So let's hop right in. Grab a pen and paper, clear, you know what I mean? Do this in the middle of the night where you can focus, do whatever you got to do. If you need to get this done, if you want to learn the skill set even and offer the service, right? Like I'm having an abundance mindset. I'm having an abundance kind of day. I want to help out as many people as possible. So let's hop right in. Hey, what's up, everybody? Amber Jones here, and I'm going to do a video where you can watch me learn how to connect Responsibid to Go High Level using Zapier. So we see this question a ton of times, and no one is like, there's basic video out there, but I've never really seen an actual step-by-step video out there on how to actually do it. And so by the end of this video, you're gonna know what steps to follow to actually connect Responsibid to high level. Now, there are multiple ways of doing this, and I'm just going to show you the way that I do it. And if it helps, if it's helpful for anyone to implement, that is awesome. So before we dive into it, like, why would you want to do this anyway? Like, you're like, hey, man, Responsibid has follow-up built already in it. So why would I want to connect it to high level? All right. So when you send follow-ups through high level, they have what's called an all-in-one inbox, right? So it keeps all of your messaging in one place, including your phone calls, your emails, and your text messages. Okay. So that in and of itself, it's going to help streamline your processes to help you save time, to be more efficient, and to give you better sanity, to be quite honest. So now you're not having to log into necessarily multiple places to find different follow-ups, right? And so that's the number one reason why. Okay. And so here is what you will need. Okay. You're going to need Responsibid, of course. Okay. You're going to need a Go High Level. And then we're going to connect it. Zapier is what's going to connect and make the two softwares talk. And then optional, if you have a third party CRM, like a field service CRM, like for routing, dispatch, invoices, stuff like that, like your Markate, your Jobber, Customer Factor, things like that, that's optional. I'm not really going to touch on this in this video. I'm mainly going to be focusing on just connecting the Responsibid to Go High Level for the follow-up sequence, okay? And so essentially what we're doing is if you go inside of Responsibid, essentially what we're doing is you have this follow-up here, okay? What we are going to do is we are going to take this follow-up in these stages. We are going to replicate that inside of your high level account. Okay. And so then once we replicate it, we're going to, the actual automations and follow up, we're going to turn this follow-up off and turn the follow-up in high level on. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Um, Everything will still be triggered by ResponsiBid, okay? But now when you have these triggers, um, it will trigger from ResponsiBid to say, okay, high level, go ahead, do your thing and follow up, okay? Let me kind of just go in order. So this is just a checklist of things that you'll need. Again, you'll need access to ResponsiBid, your access to high level. You're going to need your API key inside of high level, and you can find that by going to settings and then your business profile. And then you'll have there's a screenshot there where you can copy your API. So go ahead and copy that here. Um, you know, go ahead and put and document that. Google Docs is going to be optional, and I'll show you why here in a second. And then you'll need a Zapier professional account. Okay, do not get the free account. It's most likely not going to work. If you're using my process, it's not going to work with the free account. Zapier account is currently, I believe it's $19 a month if you pay for the year, or it's $29 a month if you pay monthly. All right. So here's what the process is actually going to look like. Again, this is kind of what I jumped into earlier. All right. And so you have ResponsiBid. Okay. So ResponsiBid is going to be your presentation for your proposal and for your crew count, right? For scheduling, if you turn that part on. Okay. And so let me actually just share with you here because I can zoom in and control it better. So let me zoom in a little bit. All right, so you've got what the trigger is going to be every time ResponsiBid changes. Okay, so when someone comes in, you've got your open status, your scheduled status, pending, closed, declined, and visit. All right, and then any other custom statuses you might have. So each time that you have a status that changes, right, it's going to fire off to a Zap, to Zapier, okay? I do this all with one Zap. And so what's going to happen is going to say, oh, this lead, Amber Jones, she's in the open status. So let me go to Zapier and send a message. I want to have Zapier send a message to high level, all right, high level, to say, hey, they're in the open status. Let's go ahead and add them to that pipeline and then trigger the follow-up, okay? And so then let's say Amber views her proposal and she goes pending. And I say, oh, okay, she's pending. She's selected a job. Let's go ahead and ping Zap and have Zapier put her over here in the pending. We're going to move her to the pipeline of pending and then trigger that follow-up because I want her to schedule. Okay. So let's say then, okay, boom, I'm scheduled now, right? Because let's just say I go through CrewCal or whatever and some kind of way I get scheduled. Well, okay, ResponsiBid says she's in scheduled. It's going to send the Zap. It's going to say, hey, Zap, go ahead and tell high level that she's scheduled, add her to the pipeline, and then do whatever follow-up and reminder sequence. Okay, so hopefully you guys kind of get the pattern of how that works. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about is I'm actually going to go ahead and probably end this video here. And no. Let's just keep going, right? I'm on a roll. So now before we start getting our hands dirty and actually creating these the workflow and things, I want to go over some basic rules of creating automations because this will make or break your success, is what I found anyway. Again, anything that I reference is just for me personally, just what I've learned over the years, right? And so basic rules of automation, it helps implement faster, it helps things be more organized and less chaotic, okay? So rule number 1 is going to be follow patterns when naming things, okay? So pretty much you're dealing with multiple softwares and multiple steps, right? And anytime you deal with multiple software, I mean, you're dealing with files, tags, workflows, campaigns, template names, zaps, scenarios, webhooks, right? All of these things have to be named something, right? And so at every stage and in every software, you want to try to make the name it and everything in a similar pattern, like across the board. Okay, so this is going to help keep things organized. If in case you ever have to go back and make edits, because let's be real, with automations, you absolutely have to go back and make edits and updates. It is going to be inevitable, and it's going to take time to get the flow exactly how you want. So when you first create your automation, think of it as your 1.0 starter model, right? You're going to have to go back and tweak it as it's being used day to day. Expect that there's going to be neat tweaks and updates along the way. Otherwise, you're going to end up frustrated and no one's going to be happy, right? Creating automations is rarely, I put never, rarely ever perfect on the first shot, okay? Especially if you've got multiple team members and things like that you're working with that each has their own different take on things. So rule number 2 is always map out before you create, okay? You can use things like Canva, mind maps, or even just a pen and paper, right? Because when you pre-map your potential path, it's going to save you a lot of headaches of like trying to create from a blank screen, right? Um, and also, it's going to make your implementation be 2 to 3 times faster when trying to create versus trying to create from scratch on the fly, right? So, like, for example, that's what this is here, right? I used Canva. There's lots of different tools, right? But I use Canva to pre-map this out. And hopefully you can tell that just by me mapping it out, it probably even helped your understanding of what we're trying to do in the first place, right? All right. The next thing you want to do is allow yourself time to fiddle to see what's possible, especially when you're dealing with like Zapier, right? So creating automations is just like creating a masterpiece with Legos, right? If you go to Legoland, they have these like, these masterpieces, hundreds of thousands of Legos. Well, in order to make that masterpiece, you have to fiddle with some of the smaller pieces to see kind of what smaller shapes are possible, right? And then you put those smaller shapes together to make a big shape, and you have this masterpiece, right? So be sure to give yourself time to fiddle with this, like before you ever sit down with an entire automation. So, like if I'm in Zapier and I'm like, oh man, I wonder if this is possible with ABC software. Well, I go inside of Zapier and I fiddle, right, to see what's possible first before trying to figure everything out. Now, this is my philosophy. Some people like it, but I actually create smaller web flows might be better than creating one big workflow. Okay, what that means is sometimes you'll see people's like automations, and there's big, huge screens, and there's hundreds of steps all in one automation. Um, Again, I'm speaking from my perspective. All right, so it's really helpful to break these down in smaller pieces, especially if you're getting started, because that way, if you have to troubleshoot something that's broken, it's going to be easier to find, easier to manage. And remember, like I said before, editing and updating is going to be inevitable. So you're definitely going to need to troubleshoot at some point. When using multiple workflows, be sure to do whatever it takes to. Oh, that's another rule. This is another rule. So let me change this because this is a rule. Boop. All right. So whenever using multiple workflows, do whatever it takes to remove the contact from the previous flow ahead. Oh my gosh, guys. What happens is, if I don't know if you noticed, at the end of each of these workflows, it tells you to go to the next one. All right. And so the reason why is if you don't take a contact out of the previous step of a workflow, they're gonna end up getting double messages. Okay. And so you want to make sure that the contacts are not getting multiple messages. Um, yeah. So let's move on. And then as you're creating your workflows, be sure to rename the steps if possible. So inside of ResponsiBid, you can rename the steps here. You can do the same thing inside of GoHighLevel. When you're inside of high level, you can rename the workflow steps. Cool. All right. So getting started. The first thing that you want to do when you get started is to go inside of ResponsiBid, and you want to list out all of your stages, okay? Because this is going to be the basis of everything. So you want to go inside of ResponsiBid, name each and every stage that you have. And then after you name them, you want to go through and number them. So I do like RB1, So ResponsiBid 1, RB2, RB3, RB4, etc., right? So for this video in the training, we're probably only going to be doing like the open status through here. But if you have any custom stages, right, you want to document that as well, because remember, we have to make a pathway for each of your ResponsiBid stages. We have to make a pathway. So go ahead and name it, and document it, like write it down on a Google Sheet. So again, it's going to speed things up. The next thing that's optional is you can document your follow-up stages from ResponsiBid into a Google Doc. Okay. This is optional, right? Because again, what we're going to do at some point is we're going to literally be copying your follow-up from ResponsiBid to HighLevel, and sometimes having it on a Google Doc makes it easier to copy and paste, and to keep track. But it also can make it easier if you're outsourcing, right? You can give someone the steps to create the workflows without them having to log into your ResponsiBid. But again, that's totally optional. I don't really need to show you guys how to do that. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go inside of HighLevel and we're going to create tags. And you're probably like, yo, but what tags do I need to create? Well, guess what? You're going to copy and paste these, right? Because we're using the same naming conventions. Okay. So we're going to copy and paste, and then we're going to create those tags. All right. Same thing for pipelines. Remember, we're planning this out, guys. Your pipeline stages need to be the same. And guess what else? You got it. The workflows need to be the same. All right, so let's go ahead and pause this video, and I'll be right back, and we'll go ahead and create these tags together. All right. Hey, really quick, if at any point in the process of this video, if this gets overwhelming and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, can someone just do it for me? Or I wish there was a way, or templates, let me know. Look in the link below or reach out to me some kind of way. We have two other options. If you don't want to create this from scratch, we do have templates and snapshots available if you want to still do it yourself, but do it a lot faster and a lot easier. We also offer a done for you service. So if this is something that you need help with, go ahead, click the link below somewhere around this video and reach out. We'd be happy to help. Now back to the video. Let's get started. We're going to make some tags here. One thing I forgot to note is have in mind a folder name that you're going to create, because you're going to have to create folders as well, most likely, to stay in place. So I'm going to go here and we're going to go to, and let me move this out of the way. We're going to go settings, tags, and it looks like tags don't have folders there. So let's go add tag. Let's add a tag name. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to this Google Doc, and I have this really cool tool. It's like a clipboard tool where I can copy a bunch of things at once. So I'm going Control Copy on my computer here, and sorry if you hear my clicking. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back here and we're going to add the tags. So this is like my clipboard tool. The one I'm using is called Flycut. Let's see here. Here we go. Add the tag, create. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I get impatient. So I'm going to open up two tabs. Let's see. Add tag, create. So I'm going to keep creating these tags. I don't want you to watch me. But hold on just a second. I'm going to create the tags. All right. So you can see here that I've got all of my tags here. RB1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, great. So just a really quick snippet. One cool way that you can really quickly add tags is if you already have them documented here, create a quick CSV file, first name, last name, email tags, and you can put like a test contact in there, and then list out all the tags that you want to add with a comma after each tag. And one thing that's really cool is that you can go there and import like a contact. So you import the CSV file, and when you import it, it will automatically create the tags for you. So I'm not going to walk you through like actually how to do that. So you can create the tags one by one, or you can do this really quickly, and it will really quickly add in the tags there. All right. So let's keep it moving. So now we need to do is create the pipeline. All right. So let's pop over here, and we are going to go to opportunities, and we are going to pipeline, and we're going to create a pipeline. And again, pipeline name, we're going to be, remember, be consistent. So what am I naming this again? GHL. Let's actually do it this way. All right. So we'll come back here. And remember, okay, so guess what? The stage names are going to be. You got it, dude. Stage names are going to be this here. All right. So I've already, again, still have it saved to my clipboard. So I'm going to go here. Stage name is going to be RB1 and not sent. RB2. RB3. Oops, daisy. RB3. So I'm going to pause this again and go ahead and finish this out so you don't have to watch me. So hold on just a second. All right, so I went ahead and created all of my stages. Now I did delete the numbers, the RB1 and RB2, etc. I did go ahead and delete the numbers from the pipeline because it is a pipeline, but I've got that created. If you want, you can even go through here. This is extra if you want to do it this way. You can go through here and even like create emojis, right, to make it all fun and playful. So I would go here for like open not sent. So let me go type in like yield emoji, copy and paste, right? So like there's like this warning emoji, right? So I could copy that. And sometimes I don't think people know that like you can use emojis in here, but it really can help. So you could put like email. Helps things not be so drab, you know what I mean? Like, let's just say that. Let's use that one, right? So you can come through here, and if you want, you can add emojis to it. And, scheduled, you could go put like a calendar. Totally optional, again. Let's see. Oopsie daisy. Sometimes I like doing that, though. I like adding the emojis just because, again, it makes things more like it almost gamifies what you're doing. And especially if you have staff, sometimes it helps to gamify things, right? It helps someone to use it. So let's do hourglass, maybe. I don't know if there's a such thing. Oh, let's put timer. All right. So again, let me go ahead and pause this. But let me pause this and go ahead and finish this out, and we'll keep going. Okay, so I've got some emojis here. I'm going to go ahead and click save. Let me move my recording thing out the way. You can see here is my new follow-up. So we go opportunities, and we're going to hit the drop down, and we were going to go to GHL follow-up. And so there you go. All right, so now we've got our pipeline here, and that's ready to go. All right, so let's see what's next. What's next is to create the workflows. Okay, so let's hop to it, right? So I'm going to go automations here. Let me go ahead and pause this really quick. All right, so inside of the automations, I have created a folder, and you bet it, I named the folder RB-GHL follow-up. And what we're going to do is just create just blank workflows right now. We don't have to do anything. We're going to create the blank workflow, and let's go ahead and actually create the trigger. is going to be where the opportunity, let's see, is it stage? Let me make sure if it's a pipeline. There we go. Pipeline stage changed. Okay, this is the open, not yet sent. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a filter, and we're going to say in pipeline, and we're going to find our pipeline here. And then we're going to add the filter, pipeline stage, and you want to make sure that it matches open, not yet sent. And we're going to click save. We don't need to publish it right now. Okay. And actually, the easier way to do this is going to be, let me delete this is one I already had. I'm going to delete that one because I want to show you a quicker way now that we've got the first one done. Let's go ahead and go here. And we are going to duplicate. And now we're just going to change the name. RB2. Create. Be sure to go in here though. We need to update, right? So we got to go in here, update the pipeline stage. From here to ready to send. Save trigger, save. So now we need to go through that whole process and actually create all of the workflows. So again, I'm going to pause this and we'll come back to you when it's done. All right, so I've got all of my automations done. Now again, we only set the trigger right now. So we set the trigger for those. So let's see what's next. Now we need to create custom fields, okay? Because again, because we're sending the follow-up, there's some data that we still need to go through. So for example, the proposal, I think it's called bid proposal URL. You're also going to want, so we need to go through these statuses and be like, okay, what information do I want to pass over into GoHighLevel? Okay, so we need the bid proposal URL. You could do something like job booked date. You can do a job booked start time, job booked end time. If you're doing in-person bids, all right, so you could say visit date, visit, oops, I didn't spell visit right, did I? You can do visit, you could say visit start time and visit, I keep spelling this wrong, y'all. Visit start time, visit end time. You could also do booked services with price. Because I know this is off of memory. I know this is the data that you can actually pull over. Now you might end up finding that these different fields have different data that you want to add in there, and I'll show you when we get into Zapier. You can go back and see, oh man, I need to go ahead and add this extra field here. But I believe, let me look at these. Yeah, I believe these are enough to get us started. You could also put like, I don't think you need a current status one. I was going to say you could create one that says current ResponsiBid status, but I don't think you need that because that's what the pipeline is for. So I'm going to go ahead and end this, and we're going to go to the next phase where I'm actually going to go through and create the custom fields. So give me just a second here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create the custom field. So to get here, in case you don't know, you go to settings and then you click on custom fields, and I clicked on folders because I'm going to create a new folder here, and you got it. I renamed the folder. It looks like it actually got named kind of wonky. So let's rename. For some reason, when I put that little pointy sign there, let's see what happens. There we go. So we named it RB to GHL follow-up. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding the fields. All right. So we'll come over here and let's copy the fields. We need to see. All right, so we'll come through and let's create the fields. All right, so the first field that we are making is we're gonna go single line, we're gonna go next, and we're gonna be creating a bid proposal URL, and we're gonna click save. And the next field that we're gonna do is job booked date. So this one we might have to change, but let's go ahead and do the date picker. We might have to change this one once we get inside of Zapier. I don't remember off the top of my head because I am building this live off of memory and not off of my own templates. So the next thing is we're going to need a text field. And that is for the job booked start time. Text field. Job booked in time. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off. So give me just a second. So again, so you don't have to watch me like building all this stuff out. Hold on just a second. All right, so here we have it here. I've created all of my fields and these are the field types. So let me go ahead and screenshot this so that I can add it to the document so you guys know what type of fields to select for each of these. So let me insert this image really quick. And let me shrink that down. That is a huge image. We don't need it that big. All right, so that way you can kind of see what types of fields that I created there. All right, so now is the fun part. All right, we're going to go ahead and hop inside of Zapier, and we're going to get started working on the Zap. So let's go ahead and hop over to Zapier. So now we're on to the part of creating a Zapier. All right, so we're going to go inside of Zapier, and of course, we're going to create a folder, and then we're going to create a new Zap. And I'm not going to use the Copilot or anything. Let me see if I can. Am I zoomed out? Okay. I'm not going to create the Copilot or anything. Let's see here. Let's rename the Zap up there. The trigger. Okay. Now, this is one thing I learned, and I think this is a better option. So if you go to trigger, there is a way, like Responsibid has their own special webhook. I mean, their special thing, it's by invite only. And one thing that I realized in doing automations is if a webhook works, a webhook will give you more flexibility as you go along. Okay. So I am actually going to choose a webhook. Now, if you go to Responsibid Zapier, right? Like if you were to Google that, let's see. I believe there is a way. Not here. There you go. They don't have it in here. Let's see here. If you go here to Zapier, you can click this link and it will allow you to, build a Zap using the Responsibid specific Zap. But again, I am going to use a webhook. And this is something I recently tested. And like I said, it gives you more flexibility and it still works. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use the webhooks by Zapier and the trigger event. It's going to be right here. We're going to wait for a new post put. Okay. And then we're going to click continue. You don't need a child key, so we'll click continue. And so now you've got this URL. It's called a webhook. We're going to go to Responsibid. We're going to go to the Zapier connection. And again, we're going to name it all the same. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to paste that webhook. And we'll scroll down and click save. So we'll let that reload. Okay, it's saved. So now when you go back to Zapier, I know I say Zapier, you want to test the trigger. If you test it right now, it's not going to work, okay? It's not going to pull any data. So what we need to do is we need to go to the call screen and create like a test person. So I'm going to do Amber testing Zap demo, right? We'll put in a phone number here, email address there. Let's just see. We'll make up a street, 123 Main Street, and we'll just pick a random city. And I do need a zip code, so let's look up ARC VA zip code on Google. 23003. 23003. And we're going to click continue, and I'm just going to click a random service because again, we just need to get some data in there. So let's just say it's a 1-story. We'll continue, and let's say it has 30 windows. Continue, and we're going to click get the bid. So now that it's hit get the bid, right, I'm going to come back over here to Zapier, and we're going to test the trigger again. And you see it says request A. All right. So what it has done is it has pulled over my information. This is all the data that you can get from Responsibid. And all this data is what we can carry over. So we don't really need like the top part. Maybe the bid ID would be good to create a field for that. But look, see, it's got all of my information here. This is the data that we're going to want to pass into GoHighLevel. Now, let me just make sure we also have, yep, we've got the bid proposal URL. Okay, so we're going to click continue with this record. The next thing that we're going to do is we need to create what's called a path. Okay, so remember, we're going back to this diagram looking thing here, right? And so this is the Zap, and then we're going to create a path. I actually probably should put an extra box there. Let me see if I have an extra box on this one. Yep, there it is, a path, right? So we create that path, and now guess what we do? We create the paths for each of our things, right? So we have a path A. We're going to rename it. And we're going to go back to, remember, we're going to name this the same thing here, okay? So in this instance, okay, let me explain what I'm doing here. It says open not sent. I'm using it this way because this particular client and this particular company, let's rename, why it's not letting me rename it? There we go. This particular company, they do not want the bid sent right away. They want to collect the information and then they want to confirm the amounts before sending it, right? Because sometimes if people calculate their own bids, they'll lie about their numbers, whether it be intentional or unintentional, and it's not accurate. And so that's why we have that here. And so I don't know why this thing is not letting me rename it. There we go. Rename. All right, so the path. Okay, so now what we do is we have to say, okay, what path do we need to filter it by? Okay, so we're going to say if the status, right, you see where it says company bid status, if it exactly matches, and then we want to do what the name of that, what the name of the status is. Now, in this one, I did not update. Let's do the follow-up builder. I believe this one is still named open. Yeah, that one's still named open. So I'm going to say open. Okay. Then we're going to continue. And it's going to say, hey, using this test data, like remember I just created myself as a test. It says, yes, this would have continued down this path. All right, great. So we've got it down that path. So now let's look for the lead connector. That is the same thing as GoHighLevel. We need to choose an event and we're going to add/update a contact. And this is where you need to connect your HighLevel account. Okay. So this is where, remember where I said, hey, you want to get your API key. So I'm going to go ahead and get my API key, and then we're going to click yes, continue. So give me just a second. Give me just a second here. Okay, so I have added my HighLevel, and what I like to do is you can actually rename this as well. So let's, like, for example, I would name this the name of the sub account. But for privacy sake, I'm not going to put that. So let's just put Soft Wash Company, right? And we'll click OK. Again, it's going to help you in the long run if you ever end up doing, like, if you have multiple sub accounts. All right, so we're going to add or connect. And so now we have to map out the fields. Okay, so these are all the fields that we have inside of HighLevel. And so we're going to map these out. All right, so we're going to go first name, we're going to hit the plus sign. And so this is the data catch hook right here is what we want to click on. And we want to find my first name. So you can search, let's just say first. Let's go here. There it goes, first name, Amber. And so you can find it by searching, like scrolling through. But if you know the name of the field, like I know this one is going to be last name. So I'm going to just type in last. And there's my last name. Phone number. So we go here. I'm going to click on the catch hook. So again, I could scroll through here, but I'm just going to search it because I'm pretty sure, there we go, they have a field called phone. Email, go there, catch webhook, email, there it is, contact email. And one thing that you'll notice is, like, that's the data that I put in there. So address, catch hook. Let's see, it is not under address. So this is one where I will probably have to scroll through and find it. So let's see, we'll scroll through and find the address here. Sometimes this takes some patience. Your address, where are you? There it is. Oh, wait, that's the city. There's the, it's under street. That's why we didn't find it. And then the city. And I think the city was under service area. Let's just double check if it has a city option. Yeah, look at that. The city's not showing there. But see right here, it's at service area. I wonder if, let's test that out here, okay? Because this pulls in the city and the state. So let me double check. If I search for art. Yeah, it looks like that's how it's bringing it over there. It's bringing that data over there. I don't see one that says just city. So we'll test that out. And then postal code. We'll go here. Let's type in, I believe it's called the zip code. Yep, contact zip. This here, if you want to add tags, you can go ahead and add tags here. And guess what? Remember, we created a tag. But you know what? Let's not create a tag here. We'll create the tag in the automation flow. Source. I believe there was one for source. I saw it. So let's scroll through here because I did see it. So this is where patience and just taking your time kind of really is super duper uber important. Lead source. There we go. And then mark as lead true. Bid proposal URL. Okay, so now this is where we want to plug in the ResponsiBid URL. So let's just search for URL. There it is. You know what? You don't have to fill this out here. I am actually going to, I'm going to hold off on filling this out here. This would not be filled in this pattern here. We'll fill this out later. So the job booked, the visit date, all that stuff. We'll fill that out because let's see, even the services, right? Like I think because I'm in the open, it's not going to show. Yeah, it didn't bring over any data here for services. I wish it brought over like the services that are interested in, right? Like I wish it could bring that over, but like selected services, it's not showing. All right, so then we're going to click continue and you can test the step. So it says success. So if we were to go here to high level and we search for the contacts, let me search my name. And here it is, Amber Testing Demos app, right? And you can see that I got added here. All right. So now you'll see that I'm added as a contact, but guess what? I have not been added as an opportunity or in the pipeline. So that's the next thing we need to do is we need to add in another box for lead connector, which lead connector is the equivalent of GoHighLevel. And the event that we need to do is we need to add an opportunity. Oh, let's make sure that we're in the, also make sure that you're in the same account, right? Okay. Click continue. And in this instance, all we have to do is we'll go ahead and still map it by name. And actually, what you can do is map it from this same here, right? So we can go first name. And this is pulling from this one that we did before. This will help make sure that you don't have any duplicates. And then all you really need to do is the email. You can base it off of just the email or the phone number, okay? You don't have to fill all this other stuff out because we filled that out in the step ahead. But what we do need to do, mark it as a lead is true, select the pipeline, okay? So we're gonna go down and select the pipeline we created, and then the stage is gonna be open but not sent. And then click continue. And now if we test the step, we'll give it just a second here. If we test the step, we'll give it a moment and refresh. All right, so if we scroll down here, should have added it to the opportunity, so we'll give it a second again to refresh. Let's see here, we'll go opportunities. There it is there. Okay, so I've got the opportunity there, but look what I forgot to do. So I forgot to do that. So let's go back to the Zap. Let's go back to configure because we added the opportunity. We added it to the pipeline. See, you should be able to add an opportunity name there. Let's add the full name. Oh, I see what happened. You know what happened, guys? Because I pulled the data. Okay. So what I need to do is go back here, continue, retest the step. And then when I go here, oops, make sure to click continue. When I went here, see how it says no data? it didn't pull. So when I tested it, it didn't pull that out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull the data from here, from the webhook. So I need to do that. First name, beep. The last name, beep. And then the email. We're going to pull it from the webhook data. Email. Continue. Retest the step. Okay. So I wanted to do this raw and not edit it, right? So like that way you can kind of see what kind of goes into creating these things here. So now if we refresh, there we go. All right, so this is here. You can see I'm added to the opportunity here. And then I can click on this and it'll take me to my actual CRM record. Boop, opportunity created. All right, so if you look down here at opportunities, you'll see I'm in the opportunity. And if we give it a second, we have not turned on our automations. Oh my goodness. So if we would have had our automations on, let me go ahead and pause it. Our automations on, it should have gone ahead and done and joined this one. So let me go ahead and publish, because we're going to need to be testing these, right? So let's go ahead and publish these workflows. Publish. 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 So we're going to do it for all of them. And again, sorry guys, if you hear my clicking, sorry about that. All right, so now that we've published all of them, if I were to retest the step, and you know what, I might have to take myself out of the opportunity. So let me trash this opportunity. Let me trash these guys. All right, so I deleted that one. And let me delete that one. All right, so if I refresh the page, it should show 0 opportunities. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to test it again. So let's retest the step. Success. All right, my name should pop up here in a second. Let's refresh the page because I'm impatient. There we go. And then if I refresh, let's go here and let's see something here. Opportunity is there. And if we give it a second, I should be in the automation. So let's go back here and see if I got added to the automation. Oh my goodness, I'm so silly. That one did not get published. And that's why I'm not there. So make sure you publish all these guys. We're only going to publish it temporarily though. I forgot to say this because this is during business hours. So hold on guys, I can't do two things at once. So let me retest the step really quick. All right. And actually, you know what? I need to delete the opportunity. Refresh. All right, so I deleted the opportunity. We're going to come back here. We're going to retest the step. We're going to come here. I should pop up here momentarily, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page. All right, so I'm here. Let me check my contact. And let's see if I got added to the workflow. So we'll give it a second here. So let's see if I got added to the workflow here. Oh my goodness, I don't know why this one keeps going into draft mode. What's going on here, y'all? Publish that thing. It's like not saving. Come on, high level. What's going on? And then save. Y'all, this is crazy. It's not publishing this one. So let me edit this though, because I did mess it up. So let me go ahead and pause this really quick. We got it to work. Okay, so let me tell you what happened, what issue I ran into. So we were testing our Zap, and we were trying to test to make sure, like, hey, will it pass the information and get the contact into GoHighLevel? And now you will see that I successfully did it. One thing that we need to make sure, and we'll probably have to go back and do on all of these, is we need to make sure that we go back into here and we add at least one step. So for example, we're going to enter the pipeline stage, and we need to go here and let's go ahead and on each of these, at least go ahead and add a tag, the corresponding tag. So that one's ready to send, and RB2 open ready to send. You have to have a step, at least one step into these automations when you publish them, because if not, it's going to automatically unpublish them when you try to test it. So go through and take a moment and go through all these, and we need to add a step here because we were going to go back and create these workflows later, like the full workflows. We're going to go back and create it later. So this is scheduled. Let's see. RB3 dash scheduled. We're going to add that new tag there. Okay, so that's what you want to do is as you're testing these out, go ahead and go through each one of these, and there has to be at least an action step. We created it with just a trigger, but you want to go ahead and create at least the first action step, which is going to be to add a tag. Okay, RB4 dash pending, and we'll add that tag there. So that way when you test it, it'll stay there. So again, learn from my mistake. So I'm not going to do that on this video. Let me go ahead and pause it and finish it up for these. All right, so we've done all that and we've got everything back up to date. So let's keep working, okay? So this step is complete. This path is complete. This is probably going to be the longest part of the automation that we create, okay? And so now it gets easier, I promise you. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here and we're going to click duplicate. This path B right here, we can delete. So now we go on to our next step, okay? So we go here, we're going to rename this. And this one's going to be the R2. See, so now you're probably kind of seeing how patterns are really, really important. So now we've got the R2 ready to send. We're going to update the contact. We're going to click continue, continue, continue. And then the opportunity, we need to update the pipeline stage. So we need to update the pipeline. So let's delete that because that's kind of wonky. All right. So we're going to choose the value, scroll down, find the pipeline. That's wonky. We're going to delete it and click off of it, and it should. And then follow up pipeline stage. There we go. And remember, we're on the ready to send, so we'll match it. And then you click continue. And then you're going to test the step. Now, what's going to happen is if we test the step, it's going to say, hey, oh, hold on a second. We didn't edit the path. We have to edit the path. All right, so this one, we need to switch it to open, not open dash not yet sent. So I'm going to copy this, and we need to say, instead of open, it needs to say that. Okay. Because again, the path has to match, and I messed up there. So this is why, again, it takes patience. Ready to send, then edit the path to say that it exactly matches, and we're saying open not open ready to send, actually ready to send. Okay, we go continue, and it's going to say, hey, the path would not have continued because we're testing. Remember, we're testing the one its status was open. That's okay. We'll come back to this. We'll test it later. We're going to click continue. We're going to click continue. We don't need to update anything here. So we'll click continue because we're on this box here. And then on this one, we do need to update the opportunity. So that's where we scroll down to where it says the pipeline. And then we update it to open, ready to send. And then click continue. We don't need to test this step yet, okay? Then guess what we need to do? We come here and we duplicate. And then we go on to the third one. So we're going to rename this one. Actually, and this is where we need to look at ResponsiBid, okay? This one is just called scheduled. So we come here, rename it, click on the three dots. We're going to rename it. We're going to go here, RB3 scheduled. RB3 scheduled, we're going to rename that. But the path, right, it has to exactly match and say scheduled. And then we're going to click continue. And it's okay. It's going to say that the path is not going to work. It is okay because right now we're just duplicating. I'm going to click continue, continue, continue. And now we're on this box here. We're going to click continue. And under the configuration, see how the pipeline looks kind of wonky, right? So we're going to delete that. Delete that. And what we're going to do is we're going to click static. And we're going to find our pipeline. And we are on scheduled. And then click continue. And you can skip this test. Okay. So we're going to replicate this process. As we zoom out, you see that our pattern is being built here. Okay. We're going to duplicate. We're going to go here. It's going to see RB4 pending. We go here. We're going to rename RB4 pending. We're going to rename path conditions. It's called pending. So it has to exactly match pending. Click continue. You're going to get a yellow box that says it will not continue. That's okay, because we're still building out. We're not testing yet. We're building out. So right here, you'll see we're on this box. We can click continue, and we'll just click continue. And now we're on this box here, continue. Scroll down. Find the pipeline. Where are you at, little pipeline? Configure. Pipeline stage, we're going to switch this to static, and we're going to switch this one to static. Pipeline stage, find the pipeline. Oops, find the pipeline. There we go. Oh, you gotta love the wonkies of automation. You see how that's doing that? Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back a step. It's not updating. So let's delete it, and we'll click out of the box, and we'll go static. Yeah, for some reason. So here we go again with this stuff, guys. Okay, this is what happens with automation. Like things that are supposed to work easy don't work easy. Let's refresh the results. For some reason, it's not saving. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do is we don't want to lose all of this. See how it's got this yellow mark here? Pipeline. Enter value. There it is. Okay. So sometimes, like I said, dealing with automations, man, sometimes it does that. In which stage are we? We are on stage pending. There we go. So now we make sure that those populated and then we click continue. We're going to skip the test. And we're going to keep going. All right. So I'm going to do one more and show you guys. And then, oh, hold on a second. Let me rename this one because my bracket didn't come through. There we go. Rename. All right. So now you got it, dude. We're going to duplicate. We're going to go to this one. And go closed. Copy. We're going to rename it. Path condition is going to exactly match. It's got to exactly match. It says closed. So we're going to exactly match it. Closed. I'm going to click continue. Continue. It's okay that it says the path would not have continued because we're just building. We're not testing. Okay. We're on this box here. You don't need to do anything because it's highlighted on this box here. This box, we do need to add it. So we click continue. We're going to edit the pipeline stage. So we're going to switch it to static. It's doing that again, y'all. So let's refresh. Let's actually clear the selection. It's doing it again. And like I said, these things can get kind of wonky, especially as let's refresh. Like not ResponsiBid, Zapier, it's updating its interface and stuff like that. And sometimes the cookies and all that stuff, it can get real wonky. So let me go back to click setup or click continue again. And let's actually try refreshing the fields. And go static. For some reason, you see how it's doing that? It's not updating for me. If I go here, we're in closed. So for some reason, it wasn't updating. Let's click continue, see what happens. Skip test. Let's make sure that updated there. Static. Oh yeah, it's not. So here's how I know if it'll work. You see right here where it says opportunity pipeline ID? If we go back here, you see how that pipeline ID is there? So it should be okay. Well, don't worry. We'll go back and test it again. But that's what happens sometimes, man. These things, it just... And we'll test the step. All right. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. And we'll go through and test these steps, okay? And actually look at this one. What did I not do, guys? Right? You got to come back here, and I didn't rename it. RB5 closed. Rename. Let's double check our path. Closed. Good. And we'll come here, continue. It's under closed and continue. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and publish this just so it saves my work. All right. So you want to do this for your all of your stages. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and build this out and pause the video because you guys don't need to watch me create like 6 more of these. So give me just a second and we'll continue. So one thing I did notice, we're going to continue, is that using the paths, it looks like there is a limit of 10 pathways. So if you have more than 10 status up here, then what we're going to have to do is we have to create another one. All right, so we're going to need to replicate this. So let's see here. I believe, let's see, what's the easiest way to make a copy here? If we click edit, let's see what happens. Nope, we don't need to edit this one. What we need to do is we need to go back and replicate it, duplicate it. So let's go here to Zaps. Now, if you're using Zapier on Chrome, it gets wonky. You see how my screen just went blank here? So sometimes what you do have to do is refresh it. If it does it too much to you, then sometimes what you even have to do is open up and use a different, what did you get? Use a different, oh my goodness, where's my Zap, y'all? Okay, there's my Zap. Okay, so then let's duplicate it. And like I said, it can be really wonky. And so let's see if we can, I don't think we can rename it here. So let's go in there and rename it. Now, in this instance, we have 11 stages. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say that this is the follow-up one, number 2. And we can just delete these paths here. Delete. 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 So let me go ahead and pause it so you don't have to watch me sit here and delete all these. Okay, so give me just a second to delete these. So I've deleted all but one. Okay, and I need to go ahead and update this one. So we do the same thing. I'm going to rename. I'm going to go down to this last one here. We're going to rename it. Path is going to be, this is for, was it Chris? Oh, and look at this. I have to do it the right way. This is how it's spelled here. So I need to go do it there. Just a second here. So we go here and we're going to put Chris's quote. Okay, and then we're going to continue. Continue. It's going to be the same account there. So we don't have to do anything there. We will have to change this eventually, okay? So I'll come back and we'll test this later. It's not going to work. And let's just click continue. And again, on this add update opportunity, we're going to update the opportunity to say Chris's quote and then continue. And then we're going to skip the test. Okay. So we're just going to publish it just to save it. Oh, the other thing that we're going to have to do here is we have to add this additional webhook to ResponsiBid because this is a second one, right? So let's go ahead and edit. Continue. We're going to copy this. We're going to go to ResponsiBid settings here. Connections. We're going to add a second one here. Add a new connection. We're going to paste it. And we're going to add the number 2. And then we're going to click save. All right. Whew. Okay. So we're going to come back to this one, and let's go tweak a couple of things, okay, of this number one, the first one that we did. So the things that we need to tweak and adjust is going to be when we're going to zoom in and we're going to look at the scheduled, okay? Because I don't know if you remember, but we created some custom fields where it says booked, job day and time and things like that. Okay, well, we need to map that information over. And so what we need to do is I'm going to find my tests that I did. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to schedule myself. So I'm going to go from open to scheduled, and I'm going to just select the package, and I'm going to click manual. And where it says select a calendar, we're going to put not assigned to a calendar because we don't really want this to go on someone's calendar, right? The only thing we're trying to do is we want to trigger this Zap. We want to trigger Responsibid to go ahead and send that information over, okay? And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back up here to the webhook, and let's edit the draft. I'm back at the webhook, click continue, and I am going to find new records. All right, so now what you see happened is there's these other records in here. So let me make sure that this is me that I just did. So let's find the name on this one. Oh, look, that's not me. Okay. So a couple of things I'm going to do. This is now working hours. And so because we are building and testing things out, here's something I'm going to do right now, guys. I'm going to pause what I'm doing and I am going to, like if you're doing this during business hours, make sure that your automations are turned off during business hours so that your automations don't go firing out. But I remember right now we only added a tag on the automation, so no messages are going to go out. So I need to go through and click each of these and find the one that I just did for myself. So this is the one, Amber Testing Zap. So I want to work with request C. I'm going to continue with this record. And one thing I want to show you really quick actually on this record. One thing I want to show you on this record is that if you look at the status, you'll see that the status is scheduled, okay? So what we're going to do is let's test. Let's go through here and retest the filter. I'm clicked on the open and yes, your path would not have continued because guess what? I'm not in the open status. But let's test the scheduled status. If I come click on scheduled and I click retest the filter, yes, it would have gone down this path because guess what? I'm scheduled. All right. Now, one thing remember we need to do is we need to come here on the add update opportunity. We're going to pass on some new information here, okay? So we're going to go down to where it says job booked date. And let's go through here and we'll type booked company bid booking date. You see that? We're going to bring that information over. And then where it says job booked start time, we're going to come here and we're going to search for booked again. And you'll see it says arrival start time. And then right here, job end time. So we're going to type in the word booked, arrival end time. Woohoo! All right. So we're going to click continue and we're going to retest the step. So now if we go back to ResponsiBid, you should see me here. Let's see if it all worked. You'll see me here under scheduled. Woohoo! All right. And then the other thing we're going to check is to see if these fields got updated. So it's RB, the follow-up here. Look at that, job book date, September 3rd. Woohoo! Start time, end time. Now, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but now we can merge in this information on follow-up sequences. What? The other thing, actually, now that I need to think about it, is we want to come down here where it says job booked with price. So let's type in the word, I think it's under price. I think it's going to be like services selected with price or something like that. Let's see. Services selected. All right. So this will, you can plug in the services selected and this will show the pricing, or this says services selected without the pricing. So services selected with pricing. Let's click continue. Let's retest the step. I'm going to refresh the page. All right, so let's retest and see here. Boom, window, exterior, window cleaning, exterior only for 360. All right, so that is updated. Let me move this out the way here. Great. So we're going to click continue. The other thing we want to do is let's see here. Visit, right? So visit requires an in-person thing. It's going to be very similar to this other one. So I'm going to go in ResponsiBid. We need to trigger an update, right? Because we want to send some test data. So we're going to go here and we're going to go visit. Same thing, window cleaning. I'm going to do it manually, not assigned to a calendar. And you might need to adjust the dates. Like if the time is off or a little bit wonky, that's totally okay. But we're going to click book it. All right, so now we need to test with the data that I just sent. So we need to go back up here to webhooks with Zapier. And we'll click continue. We'll click continue. And now we're on test. We need to pull some new data here. So let's find some new records. Record E. So let's see if this was me. Yes, the status is visit. Let me make sure it was me. Amber testing Zap. Okay, great. So we want to select this record to continue to test. Okay. And we're going to continue. Let's X out of that. And we're going to go over here to the one that says visit. I'm going to go here. And we're going to scroll down and retest the filter. Yes, it would have went through. Awesome. All right. I love it when things go right on automations. All right, so you want to click here where it says add update. We're going to click on configure. We're going to go down here this time to the visit date. Okay. We're going to go to the visit date. And we're going to hit the plus sign and we're going to go and let's type in the word visit. Let's see if it pulls over here. Where are you? Maybe it's not under the word visit. Let's just scroll through here and find it. Again, this is where patience. Let's see. Okay. Visit. Okay, so let's pause here because it is pulling over. It says the bid booking date. So let's test something here because the bid booking date, I thought there was a separate one for visit date, right? And so it looks like we might have to put some rules on this here. So give me a second. Let me think this one through just a second here. All right, so what we're going to do here, it looks like because we are filtering it by visit only, It's matching the dates here. So let me just double check something here. We're gonna go to ResponsiBid. I need to redo the visit, but let me update it to a different day. So right now it's currently on September 3rd. Let's see what happens if we put it on September 4th at 9 a.m. We're not going to assign it to a calendar, and then we're going to book it. So now let's go back. We're going to go back to Zapier. Continue. We're going to search for new records. G. Let's see if it's me here. Visit. Amber Jones testing. All right. And then let's see what information it passes on here. September 4th. Okay, 9 a.m. Okay. You see how it says bid booking date? So this bid booking date can also evidently also mean the visit booking date, because this is what we just tested it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this record. And I'm going to go back to the path. Oops, nope. The path is going to be visit. Let's remove that rule. We're going to continue. Remember, we're only filtering it by the visit. Continue. We're going to configure this for the visit date. And it's still going to be the same, that bid date. Even though it says bid, right? It's still going to be okay to use because we filtered it. So bid booking date. Bid booking start time. Bid booking end time. And click continue. And let's actually go up here. We're going to continue, but we need to retest the step. So let me go here. And right now it's currently blank. Let's refresh it. While that is refreshing, let me also refresh. Let's refresh. All right. So it should show me. All right, so here I am here. All right. And if I scroll down here, booyah. All right. Okay, so this part is actually working. So that's really, really good. All right, so here's what we've done. We've done all of these things. We've mapped out our Zapier. All right, so we've mapped out our Zapier. I could probably even delete all this, right? So the next thing we need to do is we need to actually do the workflows, right? So what I mean is if we go to our automations, now we need to actually, let's just go through here and test these out, okay? You can see that as I tested those, the scheduled, the ready to send, closed, right? Visit. So these are all actually working good. So what I'm going to do is, because it is during working hours, I am going to put these back in draft mode. Because now we're going to start actually adding in the email follow-ups and things like that. And we do not want people, we do not want their contacts going through that. So I'm going to put all these in draft mode. And again, this is one of those things that I'm going to just pause it so you don't have to see me clicking the same thing over and over just to say. Okay, so I've put these all in draft mode. And the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I actually go through and remove contacts. Like you see how there's 3 there, right? We want to go in here and the enrollment history. We want to go ahead and let's see if we can remove. Let's click on the name. We want to remove anyone that's active in the workflow because again, we're going to be building it out. So let me go back here. Right. So anyone here, see how it says finished? So anyone that says like not finished, we want to go through and make sure that they're deleted from these workflows before we actually go building out the workflow. Okay. So now we're going to start at the beginning. This is the longer part. We've done the hardest part, but we still have another part that we have to be very, very patient to do. Okay. And that's where we actually go through. And now we need to copy the actual follow up, right? So this is where you go to follow up builder. And we are in the open not yet sent. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here and this says you can take a look at your quote here. So we don't want to use that one. All right, so we actually don't want to use that one. It's not here by default. So let's just create SMS and we'll say, hey there, first name, contact first name, thanks. We say thanks so much for requesting a quote for exterior cleaning. Our team is reviewing your information, your info, and looking up your home online. We will be sure to send your quote via email and text. All right. Talk soon. All right. You could say something like, in the meantime, feel free to learn more about our company here, right? And then you can put like a link to your Facebook page, right? Or something like that. .com/soft wash company. I don't know. I'm just putting this here, right? But this is the message that they get. We just want to confirm that after they filled out the information, we want to confirm that, hey, you know, it's okay. Thanks so much for submitting. We got your information. We're going to be reaching out to you soon, but in the meantime, feel free to learn about our company. And for this particular client, they actually are scheduling in person. They do all in person because they have a sales team. So I actually need to change this to say something like, for the most accurate quote. And we set up a time to come to see your home in person. Our team will be reaching out soon to see what the best day and time that works for you. In the meantime, feel free to learn more about our company here. Talk soon. Be sure to put your company name, Soft Wash Company. And then you have to also make sure that you put in, hey, my little thing's not working here. Opt out. So PS, If you would prefer not to get text messages, reply stop, right? Or something like that, right? So that way you have to legally now, you have to let people know, like give them an option to opt out. All right, so you can take that, copy, and you can test it to yourself, make sure, it looks okay. But we're gonna go ahead and save the action. And then let's go ahead and send an email. And copy and paste that. Let's add a subject line. Do we have the little house emoji still? I like using emojis on emails, right? But let's just say for here, let's just say, hey, first name. About your, let's see, quote request next steps. All right, you can say something like that. All right, quote request for, and you can plug in their address, right? Boom, something like that. Next steps. And you can save that action. Okay, so that's where this actually goes into play. So we're going to save it. Do not publish it if you're doing working during hours. If you're doing during working hours, don't publish this yet. Okay, but right now we're just building it out because we need to test this outside of working hours. So what you'll have to do is go through each one of these. And so like for the scheduled, for example, go back to ResponsiBid. And I don't know why it's doing this. This is driving me nuts. Here we go. Close it. It's like hiding my tabs. There we go. Now it's showing my tabs. All right. So then you'd have to come over here to schedule, right? And you want to copy. So we're going to copy. But not only do you have to copy, you actually have to update this as well. So let's send a SMS, right? So this is there. It says, hey, contact, just want to send you a quick note to let you know that we have you set up for an appointment on the date. You see this? These are not going to work because this is set for ResponsiBid. We need to update this. So we have you set an appointment for you for, and so we go, because this is for scheduled. So we're going to click here and we're going to scroll down to the custom fields and we're going to find the custom field that we just did. So it's job book date, arriving between. So we come here, start time, and end time, right? And you could even say for the following services. And then we come here, and my baby's trying to bust in here. And you could say for there. Thanks and see you soon, right? So you can save that action. We're going to save it here. Let's see if we can test the workflow. And for some reason, I am not coming up here. All right, so yeah, I'm not coming up here. All right, so we'll test it later. But then you come here and do the email, send email, and you want to paste that same thing there. Uh-oh, see it pasted differently. So let's go back here. We want to paste the updated one. All right, and then we'll add the email. Paste the email. All right. And so I'm going to take a note to talk about emails. I know a lot of people love the whole branded email look. I personally think if we, and let me delete that there. I personally like a plain text email when we're sending emails, maybe with like a logo at the bottom or something like that. I like doing it that way because it seems more personal and less commercial, right? Like sometimes looking overly commercial can backfire. So we'll go ahead and save that. And you can like come here and let's do the subject line and say job book and details inside. Something like that. Job booked for, and then maybe you can plug in their address, right? So contact, street name 1. And you can, let's go back here again. I like using emojis. So calendar, emoji, copy and paste. There. And let's get one. Let's copy that and paste it in here. Bloop, bloop. All right, so that's really going to stand out. All right. So that's the next step. I'm not going to record this whole step for you guys, right? Because otherwise this will be a 3-hour video and I'm probably already at an hour and a half when I plug all these together. So that is going to be your final steps. And then what you want to do is, let me hold on a second there. There we go. All right. So then what you're going to want to do as the final steps is to test, right? So test, right? Hopefully you get the point here, all right? So you're gonna have to test these. You're gonna have to create dummy data, data and users, or leads, data and leads. When you retest, you wanna make sure you delete and start from scratch, all right? You want to do that each time. You want to delete and start from scratch each time, because what this does is it again makes sure that you're testing these things out. When you launch, okay, when you launch, let's say you want to, I recommend turning on one at a time. Okay, so let's say you're ready to turn on the scheduled one, right? When you publish this scheduled one, it's going to be important that you come in here inside of ResponsiBid and go under the scheduled and turn all these off. Okay, so turn these off and then turn this on. The other thing I really want to make sure that we do at the end of every sequence, you can do it either at the end of every sequence or at the beginning of every sequence, is you want to remove the contact from the previous sequence. Okay. You could do it at the end. Sometimes I like doing it at the beginning of a new sequence. But that is the other thing that you want to do. So that is it. I know this video is really, 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 really long. But that is essentially the steps. Fundamentally, it's all about patterns and patience and detail. So if this helped anyone, please let me know. Hopefully this helps a lot of people that want to get this done. I understand if this is completely overwhelming. Again, I'm going to put this snippet out there that, hey, if you want this setup done for you, let us know. We can help you done for you. We also, if you want we'll be creating a snapshot and also a template in Zapier, right? So that way, all you'd have to do is if you do want to try doing this and you don't want to do it from scratch, you simply plug in our templates and then update the templates. We'll have that option available too. So that is it for this video. Woohoo, hooray. And yeah, we'll see you next time.